Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone that can hear the sound of my voice, to this week's edition of the Petty and Uninformed podcast, where we venture our petty and uninformed opinions about a variety of topics. Joining me is Nikki. Hey, Nikki.
Hello. Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good, good, good. It's been
It's
a
weird.
rough
It's
week.
just curious. Yeah.
Rough week. Started with Ozzy Osbourne passing,
Yep.
which, was pretty tough. I mean, he obviously knew he was on his way out. That's why he did his last concert a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I think he's been sick for a hot minute, or at least not like the healthiest for a while.
No, no. And both two internet locales, King Cobra JFS and Cyrax, put on tribute shows so terrible that I'm surprised he didn't come back from the TED just to bitch slap them.
Really?
Yeah, God, it was awful.
They did a tribute?
They did tribute. King Cobra based his whole life on Ozzy Osbourne, and to be fair to King Cobra, he's not that bad of a human being. He's just an alcoholic man with Asperger's that puts his life on the internet. He's not an awful, evil man.
Right.
Uh,
He's not your usual lol cow.
exactly. He's not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. Cyrax, by comparison, is an abomination. Uh, Basically, everything you can think of, this man has done. He beat up his grandma. He sends inappropriate messages to minors. He's been caught repeatedly doing that.
Yikes.
It's an awful, awful man. But yeah. So that's suckish. And then we had the more confusing news that Hulk Hogan had passed. And
Yeah.
I say confusing because Ozzy Osbourne was just a man, right? He wasn't perfect, but he wasn't like evil or nothing. He was a
Right.
decent bloke.
He was an icon. He had
Yeah.
some drinking issues. He did some questionable shock value stuff, but back then everybody did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the more Hulk Hogan lived, the more just stuff came out about him. You know, the lies, the sleeping with his daughter's friends, the steroids,
Right.
So I decided where Hulk Hogan is concerned, I'm going to mourn the legend, but not the man, because it was a
Yeah,
huge part of my childhood.
yeah, me too. And that's why like when I found out, I was like, well, that's good, but also all. You know,
Yeah,
like that was my childhood too, growing up watching wrestling. Like it was a huge deal in my households. And, he was a big part of that, just like, Jerry Lawler and Andre the Giant and stuff like that. But yeah, he's definitely one of those where you have to go, okay, I'm just gonna miss his body of work, not him as a person.
yeah. I feel like that's fair. And of course, Malcolm Jamal Warner passed away. Huxtable
Yep.
on the Cosby Show, and as Gabby points out, that is the three. So all the other celebrities should be safe.
Right. No one else should be dying that's of any value. Supposedly.
Hmm. That's
If that happens. If
hmm.
I'm not a believer in, well, I do believe they come in threes, but then next month another three could happen.
I mean, well, was it like 2018 or 2020? We had like 12 celebrities die.
Yeah, something crazy like that. Man, that was a long time ago.
The pandemic was a long time ago.
Yeah, that feels like a lifetime ago, and it was not that long ago at all.
We'll still never know if that was true or not. That's the worst part about the whole COVID thing. That we'll just spend the rest of our lives and we'll never know if it was like a scam or a real thing.
I feel that way with a lot of our political climate nowadays, where I'm just like, is it going to come out in my lifetime what really happened? Is it going to be,
It'll be like the
swept under the
JFK.
rug? Hey, Phil.
Oh, hi. It'll be like the JFK assassination. It'll never go away.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that they released the MLK files and MLK's daughter said, cool, now do the Epstein files. There's a lot of stuff that, like, I don't know, in 50 to 100 years, when books are written, if that history is allowed to be spoken, it's going to be interesting for sure, I think.
Yeah, well, to the victor goes the history.
That's true.
I mean, take a look at Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
Guy was a racist. The war was not fought over slavery. Period. You know how I know that? Because he didn't make his Emancipation Proclamation till 2 years into the war.
Yeah.
That's not slavery isn't what got him into the war.
No, it's about money, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
It was about you had one set of places that were producing the majority of what was needed for the rest of the country and not really getting the money that they needed.
It wasn't so much that. It was that the southern states, if you just had the southern states by themselves, they would have been the fourth richest country in the world.
Yeah.
And predominantly because of two crops. One is tobacco, big crop, and the other one was cotton.
Cotton. Yep.
So, I mean, they had those markets just wrapped up. And in the North, you might think, oh, yeah, well, they had industry. Well, they didn't have much of an industry in the 1860s up north, and it was there was some industry, but they were basically like women in sewing shops and shit like that. It wasn't like this big production. I mean, all the production was owned by three guys, one for steel, one for oil, and one for railroad. And that was it. And everyone that worked for them was paupers. So they cast their greedy little glances towards the South, and they pressured them. And finally the South said, "Okay, we don't need you guys. You're not giving us proper representation in the Congress and in the DC offices. So we're just gonna secede from the Union and screw you guys."
It says you're allowed to do that in the Constitution. So.
Yeah, we secede from the Union, and of course Lincoln and his cronies didn't like that. Of course, Lincoln wasn't really a Republican; he was a Whig. They just called him a Republican. It was a brand new thing. Anyway, I digress.
All right, something I found out when I was looking into Confederate history was there was never a time the Confederacy existed that it wasn't at war with America. So I was always under the impression that they'd existed for a little while and then war was declared. But no, war was always.
Oh, yeah, there was always battles, political battles going on. And the final straw, of course. No, I'm not going to get into it. It's just anyway. Did you know that Lincoln, when he said once the 14th Amendment is signed, we can ship the Negroes to South America and Mexico. That was an actual plan, and it was in writing, in Lincoln's handwriting. Did you know that?
Wow. No, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, Lincoln really didn't care too much for what he called, the Negroes.
Damn.
And most of the slave owners in the South that owned the big plantations, they actually treated their quote unquote slaves more like you know, like let's say we have Mexicans picking, you know, our crops here today. It's basically just like that. I mean, they had a place to live. They had full medical. They had, you know, they ate well, you know, and there's only the very few cases where you would see a slave whipped was by a real asshole. And there weren't that many because they had to take care of their people because their people made their crops. So they took good care of them predominantly. And you had the one that escaped, the one that raped a white girl or something like that. Yeah, they'd get whipped or whatever, or hung or whatever. But, you know, justice was swift and justice was hard. And it was that way in the West, the Wild West, too. It was the same way. People stole a horse, man, you're hung. I mean, yeah. Yeah, it's just the way it was. Anyway, I digress again.
Frontier justice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway.
So yeah, sad about Ozzy Osbourne dying. Hulk Hogan was a dickhead, but still mourn him because he was a big part of my childhood. And the Confederacy wasn't all bad. I think that sums up the show so far. We are so getting cancelled if anybody listens to this of any importance.
Well, you know, the truth hurts sometimes, you know.
Yeah, well, I can't imagine being one of those people on Blue Sky or Twitter that wakes up every day and searches for something to be offended by. It's just, ugh.
Yeah, it's as if, well, you know, I mean, they get so far afield that they breathe it in, and then it gets down into their soul, and their soul turns black, and then it comes to the surface, and they get ugly as hell.
Yeah, or they just get tired of it. I'm one of those people. I wake up in the morning, like I've been living and breathing like Epstein since he was caught, you know, before he died, all of that. Like that has been an obsession of mine. And I have to stop because I'll get so absorbed in some of the news stories that I have to take mental health breaks away from the news. Because I realize that like I'm just sitting there doom spiraling going, well, this will never come to light. We're just going to keep letting billionaires molest babies, I guess, because, you know, all these rich and powerful people are going to have their fifis hurt.
Yeah.
You know? And that in and of itself is an insanely depressing thing to think.
Well, there was always going to be people in power which are basically evil. I mean, a lot of them get into power because they're evil.
Right. They keep power because they're evil.
And they're
billionaires by themselves because they've done sketchy things to become billionaires. I'm not talking about millionaires. Cool. Be a millionaire. I'm proud of you. Like, awesome. But like billionaires themselves, I don't think that there's a single ethical one. Not a single one.
Well, I think for capitalism to work, you got to put a cap on how much money you're allowed to earn, because that money's just being dammed up.
Right, but you can't say that to people because they're like, why should we make billionaires pay more on taxes? You know, when you could just work harder, you're just jealous because they can throw away $10,000 a minute and never run out of money while you can't even afford an apartment by yourself with one bedroom with a master's degree. How dare you be upset at the billionaires for, you know, they worked really hard for their money.
It depends.
Let's not talk about the fact that
it depends on whether you want to build a house on stone, which is what billionaires have, or a house of cards. What socialists have.
Well, but here's the thing: a billionaire can have a house of stone, right? Because he's a billionaire.
That's not what I meant. I meant society can be built on a foundation of stone, capitalism, great finance, great support, great infrastructure, or built on a house of cards. I mean, you take, let's say you take,
I would say that, because if you look at our current political and economic thing going on right now, America is prime example why capitalism itself is shit. Because if you're a billionaire, you can now buy seats. You can now buy legislature. Like, yeah, like you can say that's a great foundation, but we're finding out right now that it's a great foundation for them. But the middle class, the lower class, it's not. We're going away. It's
If
not
I
a good
may
foundation for us.
play devil's advocate right now, isn't that the entire point, though, of a free market? Is that you can buy anything?
yes,
I
it is.
mean, but the thing is when we elect someone, we elect an official. They're supposed to be our spokespeople for the people, right? But the people don't have billions of dollars to give the governor, the senator, whatever. So they don't have to speak for us. They're going to speak for the people that are filling their pockets. Now, if you wanted to make capitalism work and you wanted to make it a more fair system, then your people in government shouldn't get lifelong insurance. They shouldn't get any kind of private insurance that our government isn't doling out to, say, the troops. The president shouldn't make more or be able to make more than the median amount, like the median income for the world, like for the US. Because the thing is now you have these people that are making millions of dollars. They're out of touch with the day-to-day people. They don't understand what we have to live through because they don't make our money. They don't have to pay all of the stuff. They work for 60 years doing the same old thing, taking 6 months out of the year on, just doing whatever the hell. And then they collect a crap ton of money from everyone. If we stop that and they had to live like the everyman, then they would be the public servants they're supposed to be.
That's
can't stop
that's the conservative side of you popping through there, Nikki.
Well, people don't realize that I have voted Republican the majority of the time, like 30 some years. I've been voting Republican. It's just what it is. But the thing is like when you start spotting evil, you have to vote against that evil. And you could have connected the dots years before certain person got into office. Because no. I'm just saying, I connected the dots years before.
We already said the Confederacy wasn't all that bad. We are not touching that.
I'm just saying that if you can connect the dots, why would you continue to vote for someone that's an absolute crook?
Well, because they are the mouthpiece and they have the money to promote themselves.
Exactly. Exactly.
There are people, I would say on the right, mostly I would say on the right, who are completely for term limits. That's number one.
Oh yeah, 80% of the United States population is for term limits. And is for age limits. And
also to prevent people from, insider trading with the markets. It's funny how, you're a public servant and you make, $160,000 a year. And yet now you're worth, $75 million. It's because you have the in and you put the money into the stock market and you rake in millions. And that's bullshit. That, insider trading is illegal, but there's a bunch of people on the Hill doing it.
And you can't do anything about the system anyway. Because there was a mayor in Canada who, wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but he tried to cut down a government waste by, taking away certain of these rights that the aldermen and whatnot had been given, like bus cards, health insurance, yada yada yada. You know what they did? They stripped him of all his powers.
Yeah. Yeah, they had the balls to do it and the power to do it, and
so just we need a revolution. Is what we need.
That's what we need.
A global revolution.
Yeah, amen.
Anyway,
yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of So Gabby just was talking about, people working minimum wage and stuff like that, and CEOs. Even 50 years ago, CEOs were making 20 times the amount that their average worker was. And I think that's fair. I think that's fair. You created that company, sure. You make 20 times more than your average worker. Cool. Now it's over 200 times more than their average worker. These people are bringing in more dollars an hour than their average worker is bringing in their lifetime sometimes.
Well, yeah, but the top percentage are also taxed more than everyone else.
But only the top percentage of the amount that they made. They still have to make X amount before they're say they have to pay 90% after $2 million. They
Sure,
still
per
got
year
to
they
go.
have earnings
They
per
still got
year.
to go to $2 million without paying all of that tax. I'm totally okay with that. Some of our biggest economic growth was when we would tax the crap out of them after X amount of money. We tax them at a much higher rate because after you have,
Well, we
let's say
still
you
do.
made 500, yeah, let's say you made 500 million, right? And the cap is at 500 million. You now pay 90% taxes. After 500 million, making 10 cents on the dollar is not going to hurt you. That's less than a penny to you realistically. That's a fart in the wind. You already have 500 million. Just go ahead and pay your 90 cents to the dollar. You're going to be okay. I promise you'll survive.
So, you earn this much money but yet society needs more money. So you do that.
It's not about
90%.
that. It's not about that because that makes them go, oh shit, I need to spend this money and not make as much. How can I dump this? And sure, some of them are going to put it in like accounts otherwise
Right.
or whatever, but you
Create
could
a new business.
absolutely go, you know what would really help? My people would be happy, productivity would be up. I could pay them extra money because I have to get rid of this
Yeah.
or
Well,
else I'm getting taxed on it.
Yeah, well,
That's the point.
that's what Trump did. He built half of Manhattan, for Christ's sake, employed all those workers, gave jobs and that, and
Right.
a lot of that had to do with saving on tax dollars.
Right.
You spend it even though you have these
Yeah.
properties. You're
That's
taxed
you have
on
to
earnings.
do it. Exactly. And so it gives them a good reason to go, oh, I gotta pay my
Right.
people more.
Yeah, it's an incentive, right?
Exactly. It's an
Yeah.
incentive. If I make over this much, like what the heck is the point? I'm only getting 10 cents a dollar.
I
So-
think it's smart. Any smart businessman, though, even though he's getting taxed, 45%, would still want to save that money by reinvesting and building.
Exactly. I mean, but I'm not saying that like I said, I don't have a problem with millionaires. We got plenty of them. And I don't think that being a millionaire necessarily makes you just like an evil, horrible person. But I think when you're talking about billions, when you're talking about more money than you or your family will ever be able to spend in a lifetime, it's not just like that is the problem, but also your brain wants dopamine. It wants novelty. It's so cool. You got your first coastal house and your first boat, there's a dopamine hit. Your first yacht, there's a dopamine hit. You've traveled the world, dopamine hit. You've got billions of dollars. You've got all the newest gadgets, all the newest laboo-boos. What is there for you anymore to give you a dopamine hit except for debauchery?
Yeah, right. And
Okay.
like you said, if the more money you have, the more evil you can become.
Absolutely, because
who's that asshole?
now you can pay for it.
Who's that asshole that's not even an American citizen who's buying all the judges? And who's that guy?
Oh, Elon Musk, yeah. Yeah, because
not
Elon. No, Elon Musk has been trying to buy seats, and it has been known. Who are you talking about? Jeff Bezos?
No. The guy that looks like he's from Star Wars, the evil dude from Star Wars. What's the guy that's been buying all the federal judges and elections?
The evil guy from Star Wars. He looks like Jabba the Hutt. Are we talking about Trump?
No.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Oh man, hold on. Let me see here.
Do you not remember his name either?
No, it just went right out the window.
But yeah, you can, when you have $1 billion, laws don't apply to you. They just don't. I had that conversation with my surgeon like Thursday in the OR, because he was like, I think we're going to have a civil war. And I go, who do you think's fighting? I go, I think it would be left versus right or red versus blue. But if they were smart, it would be a class war. And my surgeon, who's like a millionaire, who cares? He's got like 5 houses. I don't care. Whatever. He was very offended by that. And I was like, you don't count. Like, you're not included, right, Doc? Like, you're not included. You don't even have enough money to be included in this fight. Did you find his name?
I'm looking.
Richard, you got happy news? You got any little news stories while he's looking that up?
Yeah, I got some news stories. Of course I did. So we all remember last week we had the whole Coldplay concert debacle.
Yep, that was
Well,
great.
the company, in a desperate bid to save face, did something pretty funny. They hired Gwyneth Paltrow to be temporary tech spokesman, and she said this.
Thank you for your interest in Astronomer. Hi, I'm Gwyneth Paltrow.
Hi.
I've been on a very temporary basis to speak on behalf of the 300 plus employees at Astronomer. Astronomer has gotten a lot of questions over the last few days, and they wanted me to answer them.
She's really aged like milk the last 3 years.
Yes, Astronomer is the best place to run Apache Airflow, unifying the experience of running data, ML, and AI pipelines at scale. We've been thrilled so many people have a newfound interest in data workflow automation. As for the other questions we've received, yes, there is still room available at our Beyond Analytics event in September. We will now be returning to what we do best, delivering game-changing results for our customers. Thank you for your interest in Astronomer.
That's funny. That's
Pretty
so
tongue in
good.
cheek, but yeah, they had to do something.
They did, and I think that was brilliant.
Okay, George Soros.
Oh, George Soros. Dang it! I feel so dumb now. Yeah.
So do I. I
Soros.
forgot his name.
Right, me too. I don't know why he didn't. He should have been the first person that came to my head.
Yeah. He's like the kingpin.
George
Yeah.
Soros is a terrifying individual. Honestly.
And his son's no better.
No, I mean,
All waiting for George to die, and his son's just waiting there in the wings,
yeah.
rubbing his hands together.
Well, that's how they all are. I mean, any of those old money, people, Rockefeller, all of that, they don't have to work. They just inherit and invest, and they've been raised in a family that inherited and invested, so they're really good at doing that. They know all the loopholes because they were taught their whole life.
He's also very good at attempting to overthrow our republic.
Oh yeah, I mean, have you not looked into Cambridge, and what is it, the Cambridge Media Company or whatever?
Yes.
I mean, they've won elections for many countries, just because. I mean, I think Trump in 2016 was paying them like $10 million a week or a day or something ridiculous like that, and he won, and it was because Cambridge Analytica, that's the name of it. They're just really good at doing what they're doing. I mean, like the dead internet theory is alive and well. Like 80% of who comments on most social media things are just coming from a farm it's a bot farm. It's a server full of fake cell phones and fake bots just pushing whatever agenda they've been paid to push.
Yeah, and the ones I hate are the ones that keep saying, "Hi, I do so enjoy your Facebook page. It's so interesting. Please contact me.
But
I want to be your friend.
right,
Please send me a friend request.
those aren't bot farms. Well, I mean, they are. They're more like scam bots. But
Yeah.
bot farms, man, I've seen them have full conversations and arguments with each other in the comments, like they were two actual people with differing, points of view. So if you ever get hyped up on just like on say Facebook or Twitter with someone, you're getting into an argument with them, just know there's like an 80% chance that that person, unless you know them personally, doesn't even exist.
Yeah. I mean, unless you know who they are, why bother,
Right, yeah, because you don't even know if they're a real person. They've been programmed to catch these phrases and say these things. AI is pretty awesome, honestly, when you think about the abilities that it has to do stuff like that.
AI is terrifying.
It is, but it's terrifying because we don't trust our global governments to do with it what they could or should, on an ethical an ethical kind of standpoint. Like, because AI could make the world a much better place for literally everyone, but we're not going to use it that way.
No,
There are many that won't. But it's you look at the other side of the situation. There are bots listening to this our conversation right now, and next week we'll still be on the air.
Yeah.
So
it depends if anyone hears about that whole Confederacy thing.
Yeah, right.
All right. So you're all ready for a new news story?
Yes.
All right. So today, well, this week, in fact, a South Carolina man scored a point for husbands everywhere.
Oh, what did he do?
He forgot to buy his wife a lottery ticket. Something all men have done. But when she went out to get it herself, she won $500,000.
Nice.
So, men.
Gambling does work, guys.
If you're listening, forget to buy your wife stuff. It'll work out for them in the long run.
Yep.
I
have them do it.
I don't understand this relationship of, is this like a weekly thing? Is she like, okay, sweetie, on your way home every week, you're going to get me 5 scratch offs, and then he forgot one day and she's like, oh, you're trash. And she goes and gets it herself.
Yeah, could be just like that.
I've had texts when I was in the security business. You open up the vehicle door and just scratch offs fall everywhere. Like major addicts.
Yeah, my first wife, Erica, was big on scratch cards.
I think I get like 3 to 5 scratch offs a year. And that's usually because someone, like my sister, my mom, someone has bought them and has been like, here, Nikki, scratch off a few of these. Because I have really good luck at getting free tickets. So at least you get a free ticket, I guess. I never win anything, except for free tickets.
I mean, you're halfway there. If you win free lottery tickets, then you're halfway there.
Halfway doesn't get you the tomato, though.
Right.
The gold ring, as they say.
Yeah, I'm more one of the people that waits until the Mega Powerball gets to like $1 bajillion, and then I'll just buy one ticket and be like, well, the fate has it. Like, I don't care either way.
So the gal came home and said, well, I went and got it myself, and now I got $500,000, and you're going to hear from my divorce attorney.
Nana freaking boo boo. That's what you get for not getting me my ticket.
What about all those other times? Oh, fuck you.
They didn't win $500,000.
Yeah.
And on top of that, if he's been the main breadwinner for their entire relationship, he'll have to pay alimony on top of that.
That's right.
Well, depending on the state, yeah. I did have a friend who was a stay-at-home mother of 8 kids, never really had a job. Like she got pregnant as soon as she had sex the first time. And after like 20 years or whatever of marriage, he left her and she was paying him child support, even though he was making 6 figures.
What?
Yeah. And then she went to jail. You know her, Lori. Sweet, sweet Lori.
She went to jail for not paying child support.
Not the Lori that you've met, the other Lori. Yeah.
Oh, that one. Well, yeah, but she's like.
Yeah.
The sweet Lori, the criminal.
Well, I wouldn't call it sweet.
She's generally like just the sweetest woman. When I found out she had been to jail for like a year because she literally couldn't keep up with the child support, they jailed her. And I was like, you've been to jail? What? Because the other Lori I was talking about, I think she would rock and roll in jail. She'd be fine.
I feel like, what kind of backward ass state was she living in?
Ohio.
Oh.
Yeah, that explains everything.
That explains it.
And that's why I said it depends on the state.
Yeah.
Because Ohio is like, it's no offense to anybody who lives in Ohio that listens to us. It's a trash state, and most people that live in Ohio would agree with me.
I would say so. My dad was born and raised in Ohio.
Yeah, I've had great friends that live in Ohio, and they hate it. They all hate it.
The Buckeye State.
The Buckeye State. And then when college football season comes into town, Michigan State comes over, all hell breaks loose.
All right, so Gabby looked into this for us, and she found a case of that happening.
Of what happening?
Of a woman winning the lottery and then filing for divorce.
I mean, here's the thing.
But she concealed the winnings during the divorce proceedings, but her ex-husband found out 2 years later through a letter.
Sued the crap out of her.
And then the judge awarded her ex-husband all of the lottery winnings.
Oh my God.
I mean,
what a tangle web.
I get it to an extent, right? Like, women are the ones, I'm just going to red pill y'all for just a second, but statistically, women are the ones who file for divorce at a higher rate than men. And part of that is because of the way that we were basically indoctrinated into thinking we had to live and be a certain way to be women and to be accepted. And I think that a lot of women are, especially trad wives, are with men who keep them at home, and they don't have their own ability to like go out into the world and get a job that's not McDonald's, you know, because they've given their full life to husband and kids. They get money, they have that stability, and they're going to get out, like, if it's that bad of a situation. And sometimes it is. Back in the day, the good old days, 60, 70 years ago, grandma would just off grandpa, you know. Now we can win the lottery and leave of our own accord without killing grandpa.
Well, you got to conceal the lottery winnings.
Well, obviously, you shouldn't conceal the lottery winnings, because at the end of the day, if I won
you could if you got as long as you get away with it.
Right. But my thing is if I won millions of dollars, I'm totally cool splitting that. You know, like, you were here when I won it. Like, sure, things didn't work out, but like, why should you have to suffer and I don't have to? We can just share this stuff. But
because I hate your guts.
I just as someone who is you know, doing the divorce thing, I have zero desire to leave anybody in the lurch. Like, it's like, okay, we're going to sell the stuff and we're going to split it. You know, it's more of a fight, not over what we do want, but what neither of us want, you know. Like, I don't want it. Well, I don't want it either. That's what the fight is about. It's like, I don't want to take it. Yeah, it's just like, well, I don't want it. You can have it, you know. Well, I want this, this, and this. That's fine. I don't care, you know. But I why? I don't know. I just don't understand being mean. Maybe that's just because, you know, I've been married 20 some years, but I don't know. I just don't understand the need to be mean like that. Just go your own separate ways. And if you want a butt ton of money, just split it. Just split it 50-50. That's freaking fair.
Yeah, well, all is fair in love and war.
That's true to some extent, you know. A lot of people think love and war are very similar.
Or interchangeable.
And
Yeah.
I love going to war.
Heck yeah. The fight for peace continues.
Anyway, do you have any other stories or news?
Yeah, I knew about Abraham Shakespeare, Gabby. That's covered by a lot of true crime people. But thank you. Okay, so this next news story sent me down a rabbit hole that I didn't expect.
That's
But this
good though. That's all right because you have ferrets.
Well, I used to, but yeah.
Oh,
What? Sorry,
So,
I was
yeah.
just reading your screen. Miniature
Record by popping balloons between their
Hey
bodies.
there, David Record Breaker Rush here. You haven't seen me in a while, and I'll tell you why. It's because I took a new job in tech. Yes, I am back in the normal workforce, still breaking records, but I don't have time to record and make the videos. And so I'm coming back today with another Guinness World Records title attempt here, teaming up with Jonathan Hollywood Hannon yet again to reclaim a record for the fastest time to burst 10 balloons between two people. First time we went after it, the record was 17 seconds. We went 15 seconds with pretty sloppy go. This time we dialed it in, and watch what we have done.
And then we got to take all our jewelry off as well.
Hardest part was going to be taking off the jewelry at the start.
Ah! Whoa!
This is the kind of sacrifice David makes for these records.
Check. I'm not satisfied with this. Oh, right, there we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
3, 2, 1, go.
Come on!
754.
7, 4, 4.
Wow.
That's quite impressive, actually.
So this was the rabbit hole this led me down, because this bloke has 181 Guinness World Records. They're all in this same vein. They're all ridiculously dumb things to have a Guinness World Record for. But apparently there's a community of people on YouTube that spend their life trying to break Guinness World Records.
Uh-huh.
That's like their goal. That's like their...
Uh-huh.
And I'm like...
So they must be billionaires.
I mean, depending, well, probably not billion, but depending on how many subscribers they have, they could be millionaires.
That's true.
They can't all be Mr. Beast, you know?
Yeah.
Popping balloons.
Popping balloons. Yeah. I mean, Mr. Beast could probably make a million or two popping balloons.
But yeah, there's a whole community of them, and at first I didn't get it, but then I remembered when I briefly got into speedrunning video games, and I was it was only. Sorry.
Go ahead.
And I was like, it was important to them, and I kind of get that, so I get it, kind of.
I was literally going to make the exact same reference of people who still speed run, like Sonic and Mario and stuff like that. Like, you can go watch old platformers, side-scrolling platformers, people just speed running games, and it's still such a huge thing, even though the game is like 40 years old. So
Yeah.
I get it, I guess. I mean, they do make money speed running, though.
Not
Do
much.
you get money for breaking a Guinness World
No,
Record?
you get a certificate, and your name goes in the book at the end of the year. Apparently, the month where they're updating the book is the busiest month for these people because they're all trying to get it in at the last minute so their name goes in the book the next year. I have never owned a copy of the Guinness World Records, but apparently people care about it.
I was more of a Ripley's Believe It or Not kind of girl. I had
Yeah.
the Ripley's Believe It
with
or
her.
Not books. Yeah, those were my jam. I think I've looked at a couple of Guinness World Record books like when I was in school, but as an adult, I don't really care to flip through those, but I'll still run through a Ripley's book. If they got a new one, I'll read it. I even go to their museums. Their museums are great. Oh, and the Ripley's Believe It or Not museums also have like interactive things in there where you can break world records, like the world record for the most drum beats in a minute, that kind of thing.
But what qualifies as a beat?
So basically when I went to Ripley's, they had the drum there and your two drumsticks, and each time that your stick hits the drum, that's a beat. So you use both sticks. I think I was there with some friends, and the closest of us actually played drums and marching band, and I think he was like 20 off from breaking the world record. And he tried. We stood there for like an hour.
Gabby just sent me a thing. Apparently, Beast is getting sued for the Beast games.
Yes, he is.
We watched that. It was very
Dystopian.
dystopian. Yeah, it was awful, and I liked it, which was really bad.
It was a train wreck of psychological terror upon those people. And then when you find out that it's very much kind of like the Squid Games was when they turned it into a reality show, people weren't getting food or their meds, that kind of stuff. The infrastructure of housing that many people wasn't properly handled. I'm thinking about writing up a story for one Saturday and going into the true story behind the Squid Games.
I would like to hear that.
It is a long and terrifying story. And so Samara, when she hears it, will likely be like, here's Nikki on her macabre shit again.
Uh-oh.
You know? Well, I did one on McCamey Manor, and I think it bothered some people because it's pretty dark.
Well, it's just your thing, isn't it? Like my thing was Bigfoot and Matthew Johnson, and your
And
thing
I'm
was
all
Amy
about,
Cannon.
well, and my thing is basically anytime we torture human beings or do human experimentations, for some reason, like that kind of dystopian stuff draws me in. It's not that I like it, but I dislike it, and it makes me so uncomfortable that I kind of like that feeling of being uncomfortable. I don't know. It's like having a knowledge that, I don't know. I have friends who are kind of like, ignorance is bliss. I don't want to pay attention to what's going on in the world around me. And me, I'm like, the more I know, the more prepared I am for when crazy crap happens.
And you know, that entire monologue is exactly why whenever I meet Nikki, I make sure I have a stun gun on me at all times.
Right. I'm a dangerous person. Yeah. But no, I don't know. But I did the McCamey Manor, and people, I don't know. We're kind of, I had people messaging me about it. So
do
like,
it about
it's so dark.
Do it about Squid Games then.
I will, because it is based heavily on a true story about what Koreans did to their own people, basically to clean up the streets for the Olympics.
Huh. Well,
Yeah,
next week then, or
yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to get it ready next week, but I'll try. I'm just gonna have to. It is a very long kind of thing, so I'm gonna have to find a way to cut it down into a smaller format. But yeah, absolutely, I would love to do it because it's terrifying.
Wow. I can hardly wait.
Yeah, I mean, because considering that some of the youngest survivors are around my age, it's not like it happened very long ago. We're talking 30 years ago.
We're
that
the
this
same
happened.
age, Nikki. Don't say things like that.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I am older than you though, so you can at least take some kind of solace in knowing that I'm older than you.
That's true. That does get me through
By
it.
probably like 12 or 13 hours.
All right. So our next story: cat dubbed Leonardo da Vinci has been stealing neighbors' underwear.
Hell
That
yeah.
damn cat. Damn.
Leonardo da Vinci.
Has
That's adorable.
brought home over 150 pilfered items in the past 9 months.
Is
He
it
brings
part
home-
ferret?
Wow, it might be. I mean, let's fake it. Ferrets are just cat snakes, so maybe.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. They're noodle cats.
His favorite items to steal are underwear and socks.
But he isn't too picky.
Where was this cat when I was in college?
Right? You wouldn't have to go panty raid. Okay,
right.
little Leonardo da Vinci.
All right, boy. These are the ones I'm looking for today. Show them the picture. They're pink and they're lacy.
It makes sense though. Just from someone who owns cats, I can't tell you how often my cat runs in the room crying and I have to look down and he's carrying something like underwear or socks in his mouth and he generally wants me to throw it or just be like, "Oh wow, look at what she found." But I think, do they think it's because like the smell, like the scent of the sock or the scent of the underwear? Because cats are very sensitive to that stuff and they might just be attracted to the pheromones.
No, apparently they just think he's a kitten.
Our pug does that. He'll grab one of my wife's socks
Mhm.
and she'll go, "You have one of my socks," and he'll run from her and she has to chase him to get the sock back. And she is so happy that she's got this sock,
Mhm.
you know.
And it smells like mom.
And it's, well, I mean, we're talking like out of the drawer, out of the dryer, doesn't matter.
Oh wow.
She
Gotcha.
sees a sock and she knows that mom is going to chase me because I have a sock.
Yeah. That's true. Like my cat knows that I'm going to pick up what he has in his mouth and throw it down the hallway. And that is like the best part of his life, I think, is me throwing things down the hallway for him to go chase after. Okay, continue with your story. I'm sorry, Richard.
No, that's okay. Apparently, the largest thing he's brought home was a 5-foot-long stuffed snake, and he's brought that home twice, so he obviously really liked it.
That could have been worse.
Are they taking it back to the neighbors?
Yeah, she's using a local WhatsApp group and Facebook group to help her neighbors reclaim his gains.
Cat burglar.
I like that. He is. He's quite literally a cat burglar. If only they could train him to do that with people's money or wallets, right?
Yeah, that would be the thing.
That would be the best way.
I think that goes from a hilarious story to larceny pretty quickly, though.
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder if you could like train a cat to go after money. You know, this is Cash. This is what Cash looks like. You know, go get it for Fuzzy Tail, and Fuzzy Tail will go get the cash. And then you just take it over to somebody's house and crack open the window. Go get it, Fuzzy Tail.
I mean, it's possible because cats can actually understand more words than dogs. They just don't have the compulsion to make us feel good about ourselves the way dogs do. Like dogs want to please us. And when they see us, the same part of their brain that we feel when we think something's cute or are like love something, the same part of their brain lights up too. Cats are more like, I mean, I know you want the money, but what do I get out of it? I don't
What's
feel
in
like
it for
right
the kitty?
now. Right. Like
That's right. Yeah.
You ever try and play fetch with a cat that doesn't want to play fetch? It gives you a look
Yeah.
like if you wanted it so bad, why'd you throw it away?
Yeah, basically, it's just like, what do you want me to do about it? You threw that down the hallway, and
Yeah.
that's not what I wanted to
That's
do.
a
there.
you problem. That's not a me problem.
Exactly.
Wow. That's a sad story.
I mean, it is possible to train cats, but it takes so much time and effort. People don't usually do it.
My sister's cat is insanely well trained, like to the point where she walks him around on a leash. He went on our last trip out of state with us, and around new people and in a new house, he was just sploot out in the middle of the living room floor. Like he's insanely well trained. But even him, if he's not in the mood to do something, he's not going to do it. They just have a little bit more autonomy than dogs. And so I'm sure you could teach your cat to go after money, but whether or not they would just depend on their feelings for that moment.
Plus,
Yeah,
they'd
depends on
probably
their
keep
mood.
it for themselves.
Like
Yeah.
having a woman around.
Okay.
I'm not touching that one.
Oh, I will. I don't want to. But you wanted to all the other times. I don't want to now. I've changed my
Kiddo.
mind.
Brilliant. So that's all the news stories I have for you.
Sweet. Those were super cute, and I will work on the Squid Games one this week and maybe next week. We'll see when I get it finished, but I will work on it.
Alrighty then. Well, that'll wrap us up for this week. We will return next week, despite the hopes of many.
many.
It's good night from me, and it's good night from her. And
Good night.
good night, everyone.